At just 8 years old, a girl who once lived in a silent orphanage on the other side of the world was suddenly pushed into a life she never could have imagined.
Nancy Lee is 8 years old, and she is my very, very smart, very compassionate, very big-hearted little gal. She's totally mommy's little helper and loves being the big sister.
Katherine Heigl describes her daughter as smart, compassionate, and big-hearted. A kid who loves helping her mom and proudly takes on the role of big sister. But before she became part of one of the most privileged households in Hollywood, she was a baby no one wanted, abandoned in a South Korean hospital and left with nothing but a file number and a fragile heartbeat. 15 years ago, she was sleeping in a crib among hundreds of other orphans, waiting for a family that might never arrive. Then, out of nowhere, a superstar actress with global fame and millions in the bank saw her photo, and everything changed overnight. The girl who once had no home now lived in a mansion in Utah. So where is she today? And how did growing up with fame, money, and a complicated past shape her into who she is now? The story begins in Seoul, South Korea, in 2009, when a newborn girl was delivered in a local hospital. Her biological mother left the next morning without looking back. Under South Korean law, authorities searched for the mother for an entire month, but she never returned. With no one to care for her, the infant was transferred to an orphanage called Namsanwon, where she spent the earliest months of her life surrounded by caretakers instead of parents. These months were brutal for a newborn, especially one born with a congenital heart issue that required open heart surgery before she was even old enough to understand what pain was. Doctors fought to keep her alive, and the surgery saved her life. But her future remained uncertain. She had no known parents, no extended family, and no sign that anyone would claim her. Those early records remain a mystery even today. But everything changed when Katherine Heigl and Josh Kelley entered the picture. Their story began long before adoption was ever part of their personal lives. Heigl, famous for her role as Dr. Izzie Stevens on Grey's Anatomy, met Josh Kelley in 2005 while filming the music video for his single, Only You. They clicked instantly, started dating the same day, got engaged within a year, and were married by 2007. From the beginning, they talked about adoption. Heigl grew up with an adopted Korean sister, so expanding her family the same way felt natural to her. Adoption wasn't a backup plan, it was her plan. By 2009, they were ready to become parents. And when they received a file for a Korean baby girl with a heart condition, they didn't hesitate. They didn't ask for guarantees. They didn't second-guess the risks. They simply said, "We want her." Heigl and Kelley studied every medical document, sent the reports to Josh's father, who happened to be a heart surgeon, and prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead. When they finally held the baby, then named Nancy Lay, but called Nali, everything in their lives shifted. A child who once waited in an orphanage was suddenly wrapped in the arms of two parents who adored her. But this new chapter wasn't as perfect as the outside world assumed. Bonding didn't come easily. Heigl expected instant attachment, but Nali clung to Josh instead. He was the playful parent, the one rolling on the floor, making silly faces, doing anything to make her laugh. Heigl was the cuddler, the one trying to connect emotionally, yet terrified that her daughter didn't love her back. Making things harder, Heigl had to return to the Grey's Anatomy set just 3 days after bringing Nally home. Instead of rocking her newborn to sleep, she was filming scenes with co-stars, often spending more time with actors playing hospital patients than with her own daughter. The guilt ate at her. She feared Nally might never see her as her mother. A social worker reminded her that adopted children sometimes bond differently at first, especially those with complicated beginnings. But Heigl still cried over the distance she felt. Everything changed in 2012 when Nali ran onto the set of The View during an interview and wrapped her arms around her mom without hesitation. That hug shattered the wall between them and showed Heigl that their relationship had finally settled into something deep, natural, and unbreakable. The family grew again that same year when Heigl and Kelley adopted a second daughter, Adelaide, from Louisiana. 5 years later, Heigl became pregnant naturally and gave birth to their son, Joshua. Unlike her adopted daughters, Joshua arrived through a difficult delivery, breech, and needing oxygen immediately. The fear she felt in those first moments was overwhelming, but he recovered quickly, and the family became a chaotic mix of 3 kids, pets, music, and the steady smell of ranch life. Hollywood's constant cameras made Heigl uneasy, so the family left Los Angeles for a quieter life in Utah. Their ranch sits on a massive piece of land with views of mountains, rivers, and acres of open sky. The kids grew up surrounded by dogs, cats, chickens, goats, and horses. It was nothing like the upbringing most celebrity children experience. Nalee thrived in the calm. Her parents focused on quality time, teaching their kids patience, kindness, compassion, and the importance of giving back. But they also protected their kids fiercely. Heigl refused to let her 15-year-old daughter join Instagram or have a phone. In her entire grade, Nolly is one of only 2 kids without one something Heigl openly admits is intentional. She wants her children grounded, not swallowed by social media. Still, Nalee is a typical teenager. She secretly makes TikTok videos on her mom's iPad and laughs about it later. Despite the playful side, there's a serious depth to her. Heigl describes her as witty, sharp, emotionally aware, and compassionate. She remembers the broken-hearted baby she once held and sees how far her daughter has come. Over the years, Nalee began appearing at carefully chosen events with her mom, charity functions, movie premieres, red carpets. Her debut was at age 5 at the premiere of The Nut Job, where she surprised everyone with her confidence. In 2022, she appeared in the audience during her mother's talk show interview, smiling proudly. No longer the shy little girl Heigl once worried she'd never connect with. Today at 15, Nalee lives in a $4 million Utah home with fireplaces, a greenhouse, stone gardens, and mountain views. She's seen riding in luxury cars, including a $118,000 Range Rover Sport and a $644,000 white Audi Q5. Though these are her family cars, not her own. Her life is undeniably privileged, but Heigl has worked hard to ensure it never warps her daughter's character. Education is a priority. Family conversations are open and honest. Heigl prepares her daughters for the real world, including hard conversations about race, identity, and the challenges they may face as multiracial kids growing up in America. She also helps them understand their adoption stories without shame or secrecy. Over time, Nalee has traveled to South Korea with her family, learning about the culture of her birthplace and keeping a connection to her roots alive. On her 13th birthday, Heigl posted the very first photo she ever saw of Nalee the moment she knew this little girl would become her daughter. That bond has only deepened with time. Today, Nalee has grown into a confident young woman with a strong sense of self, surrounded by a family that loves her deeply. She may have started life alone in a nursery with no name and no home, but now she stands as living proof of what love, stability, and resilience can do for a child who was once overlooked. And with Heigl's commitment to giving her kids a normal, meaningful, grounded life, Nalee's journey is far from over. Her past may have begun in uncertainty, but her future is wide open, built on second chances, family strength, and the kind of love that changes everything.